So connecting the dots. Think back to when you were younger and you had those little books that you would play in. And one of the games that we would play was called Connecting the Dots. And we would draw a line and we would connect the dots. And before you know it, there's a picture. It's a bird, it's a lion, it's a tiger, it's something. And all you did was connect the dots. Well, the same thing exists in building a successful real estate business. And my goal today is to share with you as basic a model as I can possibly share using connecting the dots. And at the end of this morning's session, my vision is that you'll have something that you will be able to follow the model, connect the dots, and build a successful real estate business. If you're new to real estate, this is the path. If you've been in real estate for a long time and you're kind of stuck in a rut, this is the path to get out of that rut. If you've hit a ceiling and you're trying to break through this ceiling, this is the path to break through this ceiling. Monica and I were talking about building this consulting business that we're building called Dietz and Dietz Realty Consultants. And it's just a very different model to a traditional team concept. And when you join a team, that most people who become part of a team for different reasons. Let's just say there's 3 reasons. One of them would be training and support. The other would be administrative support. And then the other one would be leads. Okay, here's the challenge. When you join a team, the rainmaker, person whose team it is so busy selling real estate, they don't really have a lot of time to spend on training and support. And the idea behind this model was to build a team where the rainmaker is not in production, where the rainmaker spends the majority of their time training and coaching. That's what I'm doing with you today. Here's the blueprint. Here's connect the dots in order to succeed in real estate. Now, the very first thing that I would do is I would study the market every day. No matter how long you've been in business, study the market. Get into the MLS and start doing searches. Do searches based on a geographic map, based on a zip code, based on the city. How many active listings are there in the market? How many homes are currently under contract? How many went under contract last 30 days? How many properties closed in the last 30 days? What was the list price to sell price ratio? What was the average days on the market? Become a master of data so that when you're talking to someone, whether it's a customer, friend, or family member, you're having an intelligent real estate conversation. You immediately look like the local expert. Now, this is not a activity that you're going to do for 30 days and then you've mastered it and you no longer need to do it. This is one of those dots that lives on your calendar forever. I want you every day to be studying the market so that you know the market better than anybody else does. This goes back to the obvious value conversation. Value that is so different than everybody else offers. It's obvious. Well, one of the ways you set yourself up as being different than your competition is know more than they do. And that's simply up to you. Just study the market every single day. All right, the next dot is PDR, practice, drill, rehearse. And I want you to set a goal to practice, drill, rehearse 30 to 60 minutes, your scripts, your objection handlers. If you don't like the word scripts, call them conversations of real estate. I'm fine with scripts, but you call them whatever you want. 30 to 60 minutes every single day, practicing the conversations of real estate so that when you're talking with someone, you sound like a professional. You are focused on them. You're paying attention to them because you're not up here inside your head trying to figure out what you're going to say next. Now, the path to mastery is 10,000 hours. So you can do the math. You can figure out how long it would take you to get to mastery when it comes to the conversations of real estate if you did this an hour a day. All right, I think that's 10,000 days. Go ahead and do the math. 10,000 divided by 365, and you'll figure out how many years it'll take you to get to mastery. Here's the good news. You don't have to wait until you get to 10,000 hours to really crush this. It's going to take somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 hours for you to be able to start to get a grip on this at the point where it's going to make a difference. Now, how fast can you get there? All right. The next dot that I'm focusing on, if I'm building a successful real estate business, I've studied the market every single day. I'm practicing and role-playing my scripts every single day. This is what real estate professionals do. They didn't taught you this. They teach you this in real estate school. And for most of you, you're with a brokerage that didn't teach you this either. But I'm teaching you. Please pay attention. All right. The third dot is your value is directly tied to how well you can articulate how the market affects your clients. So you got to know the market at the highest possible level. And then there's some psychology involved in this conversation. You've got to be able to pay attention to your clients and really understand to what's being said and pay attention to what's not being said. And understand the market in a way that you're able to articulate it at a super high level based on where your client is, okay? So for example, supply and demand. Be able to explain supply and demand so that people will understand what you're talking about. When you say there's a 3-month supply of inventory, that's fine, but what does it mean? Well, a 3-month supply of inventory means there's 18 homes that are currently for sale, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Within a 2-3 mile radius of your home, between 550,000 and 600,000, there's 18 homes for sale. So if that's the market we choose to compete in, we're going to be competing against everybody that's priced between 550 and 600,000 with a single family home within 2 to 3 miles of your home. And 3 months of inventory means there's 6 that are selling every 30 days. So in order for you to sell your home in the first 30 days, you're going to have to be one of the 6. Actually, in order to sell your home, period, you're going to have to be one of the 6. Because if it doesn't sell in the first 30 days, well, guess what? Month 2, there's going to be another 6 that will sell. And is your home going to be one of those 6? Now, in order to be one of the 6, here's the formula. You want to be top 25% in condition. So look at the competition and ask yourself, if I were to choose a home out of the 18 that are available, is mine one of the top 6 when it comes to condition? The other part of the formula that you need in order to be one of the top 6 is bottom 25% in price. So again, ask yourself, am I positioned in that $550,000 to $600,000 price range to be one of the bottom 6? This is the strategy that I need to follow in order to get my home sold. This is why it's so important that you understand when you're doing a listing presentation, you're not doing a market analysis in order to determine what the right price is. The right price doesn't mean anything. What we're focused on is finding the right strategy to get their goals accomplished. You need to be able to understand, be able to articulate days on market. How does that matter? List price to sell price ratio. Super important. Pay attention to that because it trends. List price to sell price ratio a year ago was on average about 103%. Look it up in your local market today. I bet it's anywhere from 97 to 98%. It makes a difference. Days on market with a price reduction versus without a price reduction. You need to be able to articulate why that's important. It makes a difference. All right, using list price to sell price ratio with your buyers in order to help them make an offer that will be accepted. I'm going to slow down because this is important. You have a buyer, they're looking at a house, they like the house, and you ask them, are you ready to make an offer? They say, yep, cool, let's write it up. You get to the offer amount, you ask them, how much would you like to offer? They're thinking, I want a deal. Okay, what does a deal sound like? Well, I want to get this home at 95% of the asking price. All right, fair enough. Let's look at the homes that are selling in this area. Let's look at what they've sold for. Now, what I'm seeing in the last 30 to 60 days, All of the homes that are selling anywhere from 98 to 100% of the asking price. And if we make an offer on this $700,000 home at 95%, we've offered $35,000 off the asking price. If you were the seller and you were looking for a full price offer, how would you feel about that? Is it possible that they would just reject your offer? Are you okay with that? Or do you want them to accept your offer or give you a counter offer? Now help them, guide them to the path to being able to get a counter offer. If homes are selling between 98 and 99%, then come in at 97%. At least they're going to get a counter offer. They're not going to get a rejection. All right, the next dot that I want you to focus on is build a big database. I don't know how many of you have noticed, by the way, but we are 4 dots into this strategy, and not once have I said pick up the phone and start calling buyers and sellers. All right, this is the foundation in order to make you the local economist of choice, in order to be able to pick up the phone and call buyers and sellers and sound like a professional and get the results that you want to get. All right, build a big database. The size of your real estate business is in direct proportion to the size of your database. The size of your database is in direct proportion to the size of your real estate business. Think of it like this. 5% of your database is going to move every 12 months. So if you have a database of 200 people, that's 10 sales with you. If you communicate with them effectively, efficiently, systematically over time, and you're building relationships, at 5% are going to work with you, and another 5% will refer business to you. So you should have 20 sales with 200 contacts if you work your database effectively. All right, next dot, build friendships with your database. Get to know these people, get to know their names, get to know the spouse's name, children's name, pet's name, get to know them at a personal level. I want you to become friends with your database. How do you create obvious value? Be nice to people, be relationship based, don't be transactional. Build friendships with your database. All right, next dot. Lead generation, 2 to 4 hours every day. Now, what's the difference? 2 hours or 4 hours, whatever it takes you to hit your standards. Your standards are how many people are you going to speak to? If your standard is 20, it's 20. It's not 19, it's not 18, it's not 17, it's 20. If it's 10, then it's 10. But whatever your standard is. You're also going to have a standard for appointments. You're going to have a standard for people you're adding to your database. And you're not going to stop until you've hit your standards that day. For me, it was 20 conversations and 2 appointments, whichever came last. That was it. Super simple. 20 conversations and 2 appointments every day, whichever came last. And I wouldn't stop until I hit it. All right, last dot. Do what others are not willing to do. What is your competition not willing to do because it's too hard, it's too uncomfortable? Do that. Maybe it's cold calling. Maybe it's going out and knocking on doors. Maybe it's doing open houses at such a high level that it requires hours and hours and hours of preparation in order to do the open house versus showing up 15 minutes early and throwing out some signs. But do what others are not willing to do, and that will set you apart. This is connecting the dots to building a successful real estate business. If you will take what I shared with you today and you will put them into action in the order that I gave you, and you focus on following this roadmap, this blueprint every single day, you're not going to be able to help but build a successful real estate business. Okay, talk to me.
I like the data. Surprise.
Zach.
It definitely makes a huge difference, especially because, the headlines are one thing and then watching neighbors sell is quite another. But when you look into a house selling and then you see the original list to sale and you see what they went through to get to the closing table, really makes those conversations a lot easier.
It makes you different, right, Zach? It makes you different than all the other real estate agents.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's the goal. All right. Who's next? Talk to me.